Welcome back, brother.
Episode what?
294.
I changed the just like I talked about with Jeremy's episode. I changed the number. I wanted to see if I could get you. Tripped you up a little bit there, but what's up,
Yeah,
chip eggs?
taking away my
Your
numbers and
signature
shit.
intro. There you go. Welcome back. Like Brendan said, it's episode 24. Thank you guys for being here. It's awesome. You know, we beat a horse to death every time we thank you, but we can't express it enough how cool it is to be able to do this and get to talk with some pretty cool people. So we just finished. Last episode was Jeremy. We finished our kind of sponsor run that we went on there. So as always, huge thank you to Taylor Stins, Jobtown Graphics, and Jeremy Sanders of Crew First. I mean, just some great guys. I hope you guys really got to get to know them a little bit just through the podcast like we have through working with them, because they're some amazing human beings. I mean, we would not be here. We said it on every episode. We wouldn't be here without them, but they were a big pillar in making this happen and letting us do this, which has been a blast. And can't thank them enough.
Great time.
Yeah. Go
check out their shit. Go check out their shit. Buy some shit. Support it and love.
Absolutely. But yeah, without further ado, I mean, we'll just get right into our next guest. This guy, I got the honor of going through meta class with him. He's done some pretty cool things. Not going to take away any of his thunder. Let him talk about that. But we're just gonna bring him right in. Go ahead and welcome Cory.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Good.
Cory, how's it going? How you doing?
Good. How are you guys?
Fantastic.
Wonderful.
Thanks for asking.
Good.
So I mean, Cory, thanks for coming on. Why don't you start things off by giving a little introduction about yourself?
Sure. I am a Appleton firefighter. I've been there for 3 years. I am on the Thames team there as well, along with Swiftwater and what other random jobs that they have. And then before that, I was with you in medic school, fire school. And then I putzed around for a couple of years, and then was in the Marine Corps from 2010 to 2015 as a machine gunner there. One deployment to Afghan. And then, and then I have 3 children, wife, been married 12 years. And yeah, just living up here in freedom.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming on. We'll let you talk a little bit more about those other cool things that you've done moving down. But kind of the first questions, like we told you, is just the generic one, some piece of advice. You are our first guest after Jeremy. We started trialing our new generic questions with Jeremy last episode. So
sure.
every year, we're going to try and get some new ones in there, but we like asking the same questions from different people to get little different outlooks on it. So you're our second one to hear these. So first is, where did you discover your passion for training?
For training? Marine Corps. Just that, relying on instinct when you can't rely on anything else, kind of thing. When you get exposed, you're just overstimulated. That's where the training really comes through. So I think that and training for that, you train to overstimulate yourself so that you're going to be doing the right things when it matters.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I like the answer.
Yeah. We've gotten such great experiences, such great outlooks on that from all these people on the podcast, because I feel like if you agree to do this, especially sit down with us clowns, like, you've got to have some sort of passion for training and for passing it on. And it's an interesting dynamic in the fire service nowadays. You're either very for training because of exactly those reasons, that you got to be the best when the time comes, or it's just a job. You kind of show up, do your task, and go home.
Right. Yeah. No, I think, like, brilliance in the basics and reps, they pay dividends further down the road. And I don't know, I've definitely experienced it as far as good training paying off. So yeah, pro training.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Next piece next piece we got is, what piece of advice were you given on day one that stuck with you coming into the fire?
Don't be a shitbag. Is that your guys' slogan?
Perfect.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. I was given like lots of advice. But yeah, I mean, just always be looking for work has been, I think, something that I try and keep with me. Never kind of be satisfied with where you're at, and that goes for everything, right? Always be looking for work. Whether it's fireground operations or EMS runs, whatever, or even just like training your own personal life. Like always be looking for something to do, something to better yourself, something to help that's going to help out everybody else. So always be looking for work.
Yeah.
Awesome. I like that one.
Yeah. Not
Never heard
just
that one.
yeah, not just like you said, the fireground operations, but I know it's a beaten to death saying, or that everybody's heard it, but even just that chores, cleaning the toilets, all there, the saying of, if I can't trust you to clean a toilet, I trust you on the fireground. Like, I know I heard that when I first started, or even advice from my father going into stuff like, you're not above that, and it may be annoying or seem kind of like little work, but it's those little things that it says something about you, right? If your first one's in there, first one cleaning, first one doing the chores, the not glamorous stuff, means you're probably someone that pays attention to detail and wants to get after it when it's actually something important.
Right. In the same vein, when I was in Afghanistan, we were there for a couple months, weeks, whatever it was, and we were getting pretty lax with like shaving policy and boot blousing and stuff like that. And we had a kind of like change of command. One of our sergeants got moved out. We had a new sergeant in, and he was very strict about shaving, boot blousing, uniform. And we're in Afghanistan, right? And we're just like, God, dude, this sucks. And his thing was, if I can't trust you guys to shave your face every day, then I can't trust you guys that the ammo is going to be clean or the gun's going to be clean. So if you can focus on the small thing, the big things are much easier to do. Right.
Yeah.
So if the small things are getting done, we know that the big things are getting done.
So.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to even think of people I've worked with in the past and wherever. And like, yeah, the person that's not the first to jump up to clean the toilets is probably the one that throws the chainsaw right back on the truck after using it, instead of taking it out, cleaning it, making sure it's ready to go. Like, it definitely is hand in hand.
Right. Yeah. The little things make the big things happen. So
yeah.
And whatever, like cleaning toilets, it's gotta happen. It's the newer guy, right?
Yeah. You live with 6, 7, 8 other dudes, girls. Like, it's gonna get gnarly. Like,
right.
It's a gnarly toilet, especially after in the morning.
But yeah,
it's got to be cleaned.
Whatever your job is, take pride in it and do it right.
Absolutely, awesome. For sure.
Yeah.
Awesome. Circling back to some trainings, what conference or training do you think every new firefighter should attend?
I don't know. I haven't been to any. No, as far as like out of state stuff, I don't know. Or in state even. I think every new firefighter needs to just understand their role within their department. Like, we have new firefighters coming to us, and that I feel like Appleton's got a pretty good reputation as far as training and physical fitness and stuff like that. But just knowing your job, your role within our department, not how a school taught you, not how the tech taught you or whatever. Like, just understand how we want you to throw a ladder, how we want you to do that. And then from there, we can send you somewhere and you can, try and, do a more efficient job or whatever. But to start, if you're a new firefighter, I just want you to know how we do things and you get really proficient in that. And then, from there, I've been to classes, but it's been for like Thames related stuff, or Swiftwater. So as far as like good fireground operation, I'm still actually a class just came through in the email for like December that I'm looking to go to, but
awesome.
Yeah, I like that. So, the standard, right? First, learn your department standard, get down to that standard, then kind of look for classes to build upon that building block to better understand, or find a way better than your department standard to grow yourself in a department.
Right. Yeah, because
Gotcha.
the first step, like with the crew, is earning the trust of everyone around you.
Yep.
Mhm.
And if your officer taught you, I don't know, to hook a hydrant a certain way, and you start going all rogue, he's, what are you doing? Like
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
you break the trust a little bit.
Yeah.
So
Knowing where shit is on the rigs. I mean, especially you get, you have your riding assignment, or you're that new firefighter, 90% of the time what everybody has a plan A. We've talked about that before. You have to have a plan A in order to have a plan B. So whether that's your SOP or your like however you respond, when a fire rings out, 90% of the time, this is what I'm doing. And
right.
if you don't even know that plan A, then yeah, you're right. As soon as they see you going left when you should be going right, or zigging when you should be zagging, and be like, what's going on? And everything stops. And
Right. Well, that's what the schoolhouse taught me.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you get that tunnel. So yeah, that's awesome. I mean, we've talked about in trainings keeping to the basics, but having that mentality of you need to learn just your department's basics right away it's exactly the thing that everybody's looking for.
Yeah, and I do like continuing education. Outside influence is very important. Like that's how we grow. That's how we like as a department don't get stuck in that like, well, this is how we've always done it kind of mentality.
Mm-hmm.
But like, brand new firefighter, just focus on how you can become part of the team, that kind of thing.
Yeah, embracing tradition but not allowing it to drive without change is just the biggest part. There's always, if you've done it that way for hundreds, maybe 50s, 20s of years, like there's probably some good to it. There's probably some reason you've been doing it that long, but that doesn't mean that it can't be bettered or it can't be more become more efficient.
Right.
So taking those pieces together. But yeah, that's awesome. Next one, then, the last generic we have for you. This became our favorite, so this one stuck around. You're gonna get no explanation, so take it however you want it. Is why are we here?
All right. I get no context for that question.
Nope. You take it how you want. That's
whatever's the first thing that comes in your head. It can be any way that you take it, job, personal, wherever. Why are we here?
I think we're here to push our bodies and our minds to their absolute limit and find out what you're capable of. I think that is the reason we're here, and however you want to see that. But I don't think we're here to take the easiest possible route and drift through life. At least that's what I think. That's why I think I'm here.
Awesome. That's why I love this question, because it goes 1,000 different ways, and I love that. I love that answer. It's cool.
Yeah. If you wanted the easy way out, you'd be working at McDonald's or something.
And they still can't get your fucking order right. I was there the other day. Cat suckers.
I'd rather be where I'm at than there, though.
Exactly.
Exactly. So I work hard and got the best job in the world.
I've held those crappy jobs too, though. So it's just.
Exactly. Nothing will ever beat that. But you look at, sometimes you just look at those people and it's weird. Sometimes they can be, it's totally mental and person to person, but they can be very satisfied as a manager at McDonald's. And
I know. Like,
this is the best job in the world. You can't convince me otherwise. And they're like, I'd like it over here. Like,
yeah, dude, I saw a McDonald's manager, and I forget what it was like. Like a McDonald's necklace. He had like a
chain.
Yeah, like he's proud of what he's doing. So
hell yeah, dude.
Hell yeah.
I think, like, all jokes aside, I think if you can find something you're proud of doing, and we need McDonald's people. I don't think there's any shame in that either.
No, not at all.
But not for me.
Yeah, exactly. We're a special breed. It's great when you get hundreds, sometimes even just three of firefighters in a room, how similar they are. Just
Right.
I mean, today was I started my new job, so going through orientation. It was me and the new guy I started with and a lieutenant, and we're going over EMS protocols. And he turns around at one point, he's playing with his pen, I'm playing with like a extension set, the other guy's playing with a IV catheter. He's
Yeah.
like, do we all just got fucking ADD? What's going on here? Like, yeah, I guess so. Like, it's the same person. We're all the same person down our core. It's great.
Right.
But awesome. We love that answer. We love that question. It's so good about it. But now we're gonna get a little more personalized and let you talk on some of your experience. So you mentioned it a couple times coming from the Marine Corps. What made you choose or kind of pushed you towards the fire service coming out of the military?
I didn't want anything to do with the fire service coming out of the military. So like I said, I was in the infantry Marine Corps, and I hated shaving my face. I hated getting haircuts. Like, by the time I got out, after 5 years, I wanted a stable 9 to 5. I wanted to be home every night. There was a lot of reasons I didn't want to go fire. And so when I got out of the Marine Corps, I went to school for athletic training at UW Oshkosh. And then like from 2015 to 2018, I did like random 9 to 5 jobs, trying to find a way for me to live that dream. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And after like 2.5 years, I hated it. Like I missed the boys, like camaraderie. I missed like urgency with training. I missed the importance of training. I worked at Lowe's for a couple of years, and good job. It could be a lucrative career, right? But which was like another thing I was chasing. I was chasing like, okay, if I start here, then I work here, I can make this by by 5 years, whatever, right? And I just remember them being like, hey, we gotta like upsell them. We gotta upsell pens. I'm like, who gives a shit about pens? Like, I don't care. I don't care. Like, are people dying for a pen? Like,
Yeah.
And so like that's what and that's when fire came back in. Well, and I guess fire was my original plan back in 2008 when I graduated high school. So I went and did wildland fire for a summer because I was like trying to like pad my resume, and then joined the Marine Corps. Then I wanted nothing to do with it. And then I have a brother-in-law who works at Green Bay Fire, and so he was always like, "You got to go fire, dude." And so yeah, I eventually caved, and very glad I did. Upset it took me as long as it did to figure it out.
Sometimes that's
we
what it
made it
takes.
there.
Yeah, everything happens for a reason, right?
Right.
Believe in that. It's
Right.
It's crazy. We love hearing everybody's stories because it's very different, but all has the same underlying. Like either you come from the family or you're the first one, but between those two stories, it's extremely similar. The people that are first in their generation, a lot of them fell into it, and
Yeah.
they didn't have anyone pushing. They just decided to go for it one day, and it became what they think was the best decision ever. And it's cool to hear everybody's story of how they got to be sitting with the two of us in the same spot.
Right. Yeah. No. Yeah. I don't know. I always envy those kids who are like 18 and they're like, I want to be a firefighter. I already know it. God, like, because I wasn't until I was 28, until I really figured it out.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now continuing on, so you can take this fire service, or if you want to touch on, because we're going to talk about a little bit after this, a recent feat that you completed last year. What is or was the hardest part of training? So on the fire service, Marine Corps, or with your records?
Yeah, I can hit on all three quickly, I guess.
Absolutely.
Marine Corps training. There was a bunch that was difficult. But like sleep deprivation kind of stuff. Like I went to a school called Machine Gun Leaders Course, and like that, it whatever, it just sticks out for. But there was we had to do like multiple operations. But one of them was we got dropped off in the middle of the night at like, it was like 9. And then we had until 6 a.m. to meet a certain spot. And then during that, so we're our little squad. There's 20 of us. We're dropped off on some random mountain in Camp Pendleton somewhere. So we have to figure out where we're at, and we got to figure out where to go. And then they have these like hunter killer teams driving around looking for us. And so if we get seen, like I forget what it was. They either took us all the way back to the start, or we failed the course, or we whatever. So I remember that being like an especially challenging night, just because you're up and down these mountains, you're going through riverbeds, trying not to get seen. It's just like it was a very long night. That sticks out to me. And then fire training. We've had some very challenging days just on fire, like just fireground training in general. Just it's all the stuff you guys have done, but it's just the reps and the hot days and being in the gear. The RIT with blackout and trying to hook up somebody's bypass or whatever, like just those kinds of trainings, the ones where you're like dreading it, and then you do it and you're like so glad, you're like, all right, whew, you get a little
balls out here.
Yeah, exactly. And then the Marine Corps, or the ruck training, that one sucked for a lot of reasons. Just figuring out how the weight was going to ride, because I melted a lead block so that it would sit inside my pack well. And then then it would just rub on my back and create like rashes and stuff like that. So my wife had to tape me for every run. It was like a half-hour process of my back getting taped. And then like we'd go on these 4-hour runs, and I would always have to bring somebody, just because, like, I don't know, just falling would be devastating to me. It would be lethal. So I would always need like a friend there, and I did. Like like a bunch of the firefighters were on board with what I was doing, so that was cool, because I'd be like, hey, I need to run tomorrow, 6 a.m. Who's in? And they'd be like, sure, where do you want to go? And there'd be 2 or 3 people volunteering, like,
wow,
once or twice a week.
That's cool.
So, but yeah, I mean, yeah, the ruck everything sucked. Like, just a 3-mile run was an eternity.
Yeah. Why don't you touch a little more on that's what made you decide the ruck? I guess the story behind it, and the good things that came from it and that you were able to do with it, because it's pretty awesome stuff.
Yeah. So the ruck idea kind of just came. I don't. You ever say something out loud and then you're like, "Fuck, now I got to do it." Like if you're
what we're doing right now.
Yeah. There you go.
Yep.
There you go. Now, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, for me it was like, yeah, when you're in the gym and you're like, should I do 6 sets or 7? Like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So for a while, I do this, like I run ultra, or I run like endurance stuff. So my goal was to run a sub 3-hour marathon, and then I did that, and then I felt like I was like pigeonholing, or I don't know if that's the right word, but I was like cornering myself in this like weak, frail runner. You know what I mean? And so I wanted something that I could do that would stay in the endurance world and also help build strength for fire. And so rucking was a natural thing. And then I just kind of started Googling 100-pound ruck or whatever. And I was like, oh, I could do that, you know? And so then that was pretty much it. I was like talking with a buddy. Yeah. And that was like in October of 22.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started training with Kozakowski.
Yeah.
So he was my coach through the whole thing. But yeah, and yeah. So I had never ran with the weight before, but I wanted like a strength endurance thing that I could do. And then I looked up the world record and I was like, I'm pretty sure I could beat that, you know. And then did it. And then I did the half marathon, and then after I did the half marathon, I reached out to a firefighter who worked at Appleton who just got it's in remission now, but he had just gotten diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer. He was a Marine Corps vet. We did Ironman back in 21 together. And so I reached out to him going, hey, I just broke the half marathon record. And I'm going to run the full marathon, and I'm going to break that record. And I want to raise money, you know, help me understand how I can help, that kind of thing. So then that's when we got together with Vaspire 316, with Jacole Hall, and her husband had recently just passed from cancer as well. It's pretty much it was 2 weeks prior from my buddy getting diagnosed with cancer. So Dominic Hall, he had gotten diagnosed, or he had just passed. He was a member of the SWAT team. He worked Appleton Police. He was a Marine. He was a Green Beret. All of the badass things, you know.
Yeah, for real.
And then and so then Keegan introduced me to Jacole, and she had just started her fundraising and her Vaspire 316. And so then and so we started raising money to help first responders, veteran first responders get pre-cancer screenings. Because there's these tests that are like $1,000 that help show you any possible cancer that might be in your system.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah, and then we went through that, and then I broke the full marathon record, and we raised I forget, it was like $15,000 for that though.
That's awesome.
And if I remember correctly, you didn't just break it; you like crushed it, didn't you? Was it both or one of them that you crushed?
Well, crushed is relative.
Crushed in runners' terms.
Yeah, well, I beat it by like I think 10 minutes. Yeah,
that's
a
lot
yeah.
in the like.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good one.
Yeah.
No, so the half marathon I beat by like a minute or whatever.
Okay, yeah.
And I was redlining the whole time. But then somebody just beat, actually, like a couple weeks ago, somebody just beat my half marathon.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I don't know if that's even official, like on Guinness anymore, but the full marathon's still on there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cool. And then you said you were training for some other ones. Is that anything that you're, going for world record wise, or just for personal development?
Personal development. I don't know. That goes back to that always be looking for work kind of thing. So my buddy Keegan, stage 4 lung cancer guy, he is competing in Ironman this year.
Wow.
Less than a year after he was cleared of cancer,
Yeah.
So he's doing Ironman. So I said, if you're doing Ironman, I'm doing Ironman. And then, so that's September 8th. And then 2 weeks prior to that, on August 24th, I have a 100-mile run that me and a buddy are doing.
Holy
That's
shit.
we were joking about it before, but yeah, that's like 99.5 more miles than I ever want to run.
Yeah.
Like that's
I can't run, man.
That's-
Jeez.
100 miles. That's a long time.
Yeah,
How-
it'll be like 30 hours. We're shooting for like 24 to 30 hours is my goal.
So that like, how long do you? Is there any rest? There has to be, right?
No, well, you try not to. You'll try and run the entire time, but like it'll turn into walking. You know, maybe
Yeah.
a crawl here or there. But
Jesus Christ, I'm crawling within like 10 miles.
yeah,
24 hours straight. That is crazy. That's yeah.
No, it'll be. I've never done anything like it, so I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, I mean, it's just all like planning out your nutrition and planning out, how you're gonna prepare for it.
Oh.
But yeah, the goal is to do it as fast as you can. So
Yeah.
no sleep.
Jesus. Yeah, that's
Crazy.
crazy. Out of curiosity, do you know what the world record is for that? Because
For
there
a
has to
100
be one, right?
for a
Yeah.
100-mile run.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, it's fast. It's like I don't know off the top of my head, but
Under 24?
oh, dude, yeah, it's like I want to say it's like 14, 15, something like that. 14,
Jesus
15 hours.
Christ, you fucking
Holy-
bold sprinting?
Yeah, no, it's super
God
fast.
damn.
That's insane. But I
Yeah.
mean the dedication for that's crazy. And I mean, we got our next question kind of ties into it because in order to do something like that, you have to have the magic P word. But we want you to define passion in your own words because you obviously for military, for the Marines, fire service, running, or exercise, what do you have it? And we just want to hear what you think it is.
Oh, I don't know. Passion, I think, is just doing what you can't imagine not doing. You know, just finding something that you love to do and you want to be as good at it as you can possibly be. Right. Whether that's fire service or for all three of us or running for me, like it's just something that you'd be embarrassed to be bad at. You know. So it's just passion is just what keeps you going and keeps you striving to be better each day.
I love that definition.
That's a good one. I like that definition too.
Yeah, that's great. You hit it on the head. That's great. I love that one. You should put that on a t-shirt. Next up for the 100-mile run, you should wear that t-shirt.
Yeah.
There you go. No, that's awesome. Our last kind of just personalized question before we go into our closing questions, which is the question from our previous guest, Jeremy Sanders, and then you have to come up with your own question for our next guest. Is what is your favorite firehouse tradition?
Ice cream.
I fucking love ice cream.
No, I wish
it's great. I mean, well, we can talk about ice cream while you think of your other answer for it because it's everywhere. No matter where you go, there's always ice cream.
Biff and Curves gets ice cream. First
Biff and
house fire.
First
First
tube.
tube.
Paper, first tube, all that stuff. Everybody's always got a reason to figure out ice cream.
Yeah, well, and so it's fun, like, but I also like it's probably not my official. I feel like if I had 5 more minutes to think about it, I'd have a different answer. But ice cream was my impulse because I like the like it makes it easy to own up to a mistake. So at Appleton, and I'm sure it's true with you guys too.
Yep.
You leave like a garage door open, it's ice cream. You forget your gear, or you know, like there's random little things
Yeah.
that you'll owe ice cream. Like you show up on the news, that's ice cream. You know, stuff like that.
Paper news, ice cream.
Like
sure.
worldwide news is ribeye steaks for us.
Oh.
If you're in like CNN, it's like ribeyes.
Yeah.
What's leaving your helmet on the tailboard, Brennan?
Ribeyes.
Yeah. That'll do it. But I like that from we all make mistakes and it's very if you owe ice cream or whatever, like it's very easy to just be like to own up to it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, because I think that that's one of the worst things you can do is make a mistake and then hide about it and not own up, not get called out. Like it, when you are in an environment that you just don't feel comfortable, then it's
Mhm.
hard to learn and grow,
Yeah.
right? But if you forget your gear or what, whatever, if you leave a door open, and it's like, hey, I screwed up. It's a fun little thing, but
Mhm.
you're gonna I feel like remember it better.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it just it makes it easy to punish yourself, but also um come clean with everyone about the mistake you made. And
Yeah.
yeah.
There's always a couple laughs with it every time you buy
Right.
ice cream, and that just makes it better. I mean,
Mhm.
kind of makes you, own up to your mistakes, like you said, and just take full responsibility. That's how you grow. That's how you learn, make mistakes, and have fun with
Mhm.
it, and
Right.
go from
Yeah,
there.
that's exactly right. Like I'm sure there's a tradition I do every day that I love that I'm like, why didn't I?
There's a
But
lot of them. There is a lot of them.
Yeah. It's great.
yeah.
I mean, there's only two ways that you learn in the fire service, and it's either you have a mentor who tells you about the mistake that they made, or you make the mistake yourself. Like
Right.
that's the only time. Every time, as soon as you do one thing wrong or whatever, and like you said, either you feel a little embarrassed or whatever. As soon as you talk about it, there's always one guy or girl that's like, yep, I did that when I started too, or I did that
Right.
last week. Like, just there's you hear the advice beforehand from someone else who screwed it up, or you make it and everybody else is like, yep, been there, done that.
Right. And it's also too like it's good to make mistakes, but
Mhm.
don't make the same mistake twice, kind of thing.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
learn from that first one.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Then it progresses, right? Then it's bigger ice cream and then ribeyes and then
And then you're
I don't
losing
know
your
what's after
job
ribeye.
because
That's
yeah, you lose it. You
that's
go from steaks
determination.
to
Yeah.
McDonald's, and it's
Yeah.
it's not a good flow chart, but it works. So no, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, we have our little kitchen table part at the end. If you come up with a great tradition, you can always slide it in there because we got two more thinking questions for you, and then it's the floor will be yours to end it off. So,
Okay.
our question from our previous guest, our good friend Jeremy Sanders, he's a very in-depth person. He's got a very in-depth question for you. So, how do you or how will you use your story and experiences to pursue a purpose?
I don't know. But I think I mean, we talked about like, why are you here earlier? Um, but I think that's what I'm trying to do every day, right? Is to pursue my purpose, and for me, that's just doing what I'm doing. And maybe me running 100 miles motivates somebody to run 5 or whatever. Maybe my story of whatever, starting when late, starting when I'm 28 and then getting into all the stuff I'm getting in. Maybe that helps inspire somebody else. Um, but I don't know. I don't know how my story is going to help or motivate anybody, but if it does, then perfect. I'm not going to, I guess, quit being me, because I don't know. Yeah, hopefully all of my training and motivation for training, hopefully that rubs off on somebody, right? And then
Yeah.
and it's just one of those things where you don't know who you're influencing, and maybe it's my kids,
Yeah.
and
Absolutely.
that's kind of not kind of as my running adventure. That's kind of where it started was with my children. um I was a alcoholic for a long time, and then I got sober 5-6 years ago. um and so me going down this like endurance road was me trying to help shape um my future for my kids and help, them see a different, more motivating side of me. So
Absolutely. That's awesome.
I don't
And
know if that helps answer your question,
That
but
answers it.
you answered it. I think
That
you
answers
hit
it.
on the head. There's lots of motivation and purpose that you have and that you've shared with us or just in your life that I know you will be able to pursue that and push people for that. So that's awesome. So yeah, the last thinker that we have for you is all on you. You got to come up with a question for our next guest, who is going to be Nick Peppard. Actually, no, it's not. It's Andy. It's Andy Plofkin. That's right. I had my dates mixed up. Andy Plofkin from Elkhart Brass. He does a lot of the flow, a lot of the kind of. He's one of their salesmen comes around. He's a great guy. He was in Oshkosh last year. I forgot if you were there or not. But he's been around. He's gotten to go across the world, talk with a lot of firefighters from everywhere through his kind of his main job, and he's a pretty cool guy. So whatever question you have for him, fire service related, personal, whatever comes to your head, we will ask it to him next episode.
okay. Wait, I gotta come up with this right now.
Right now, on the clock, on the spot.
What's okay? You said he's done training and seen firefighters all around the world.
He's there. He's Elkhart Brass's kind of main salesman, or one of their main salesmen. Not sure if how I'm phrasing that well, but then he's also a volunteer back home. So he's gone everywhere. Last time we talked to him, he was going to London for the World High Rise Conference. And he gets to meet everybody everywhere.
I want to know, not including America, because that's an obvious number one. Where would be the next best place to be a firefighter?
There we go.
Awesome.
That's a good question. I like
Yeah.
that.
We had a German guy come in to our station for like a station tour, and he seemed pretty. He was out of I forget, one of the larger cities there.
Yeah.
But he was like making fun of us because
traditional helmets.
Well, no, he wanted the traditional helmet. He was jealous of that, but he was making fun of us because we had a clean rig. And he's like, "You Americans, like
what?"
Yeah, he's like, "No, you only wash it when you need to." But
interesting. Yeah, that's a great question. I want to know that. I want to know what other things. I am sure he's got. We'll put some of those those questions in our personalized ones for him too. I want to know some of the weird things that he's discovered throughout the world. But that's a good one to end it on. I'll be curious to see what he says. So awesome. Well, cool. I mean, thank you very much. That's the end of our questions. So like I said, we have this last part that we just kind of call the kitchen table, where it's just a bunch of bullshit. So either if you got anything that you want to add on, any shout outs you want to give, if you come up with a new tradition that you like to share, any last minute things that you want to throw out for people to hear and know about, the floor is yours.
All right. No, I guess, I've kind of already hit on it. But yeah, don't get lazy. Don't get comfortable. Just find something to challenge yourself. Whether it's picking up a Rubik's cube and trying to solve it because you don't know it, or whatever the case may be. I think that's just good advice for every profession, not just fire. Find the things that make you uncomfortable and go pursue them. That's my little advice for you guys with your 99.5 mile or further than I'd ever go.
Shit, I gotta start running, man.
Yeah, sign up for a 5K or something. You know what? Actually, what always kind of like cracks me up though is, do you guys lift weights?
Yeah.
So it always cracks me up, like the difference, because it's like people make fun of like the runner, like, oh, look how fast he is. But then like you're out of shape with cardio, and it's like, what good are you?
That's right. Especially for this job, it's all pretty much cardio.
Right. Yeah, it's super important to be strong and be fit, and obviously what I'm doing far exceeds any sort of practical need within the fire department. But like I think cardio is like super important, and it's one of the most like easily put down upon things. People are like, oh,
Yeah.
what are you running for? You know, it's like, oh, it's sweet that you can bench press a lot, but you have no cardio. Like, who
Yeah.
cares? You
Mhm.
can't, I can last, after 5 minutes, I'm way more effective than you, you know,
Yeah.
like, so
Yeah.
yeah, just find those things that challenge you and keep on them
Mm.
for the next, I don't know, what do you guys got left? 25 years at least?
At least
29. 29 for
29?
me, I believe.
yeah, probably
Yeah.
over 30, probably 32.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's a
big
long
gray and
time.
old
We were
riding tailboard.
those. I mean, I would never change anything, and I never deny it when people say it. But we were those lucky people, like you said. I mean, we got into this basically as early as we physically could,
Yeah.
and we knew this is what we wanted to do, and you know, it's paid dividends, and I'm excited that I have 29 years left. I mean, changing departments, like still having my whole career looking ahead, like it is a cool feeling, and everybody you talk to says it flies by, and I can't believe I've been doing it for almost 4 years. Like
Right.
that's flown by. So I
Right.
can't imagine how quick the next 29 will go.
I know. I remember you and I being in school together, being like, "Oh man, like I got, like if I could just get hired, and then,
Yeah.
just now
Mhm.
here we are on the other side of it." And
Yeah,
And then
it's
oh, yeah.
awesome. Well, yeah, thank you so much for coming on and for spending your time on this evening with us, and for sharing some great knowledge and great passion building stuff. I mean, I know it's you got inspirations just in here, and I know you'll find that you inspire more people than you will kind of even know.
good deal.
So,
Yeah, appreciate you guys having me on. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
of
thanks.
course.
Thanks for
Thank
coming
you,
on.
everybody. Yeah, thanks for coming on. Thanks to everybody for listening. And as always, don't be a shitbag.
Get your questions in for next one. Don't be a shitbag.